What's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage sitting down with Manny Corral. What's up, Manny?
Hey, Dave. What's up, buddy?
I am pumped that you're either right at black belt or you're days away from being black belt, and it's good to have you here, brother.
There you go, man. Thank you.
So for those of you who don't know Manny, he is a big producer. I have been seeing Manny for years and saying, Manny, you should use Mortgage Coach. And he's always been like, yeah, it's a good idea. I will. And then he's also a really busy, top performing loan officer. So Manny, just tell everybody a little bit about your mortgage practice, where you're at, and then we'll get into the how you use Mortgage Coach now.
Speak a little bit about my mortgage practice.
Correct? Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, just in the beautiful town of Pomona, California, here in Southern California, just on the outskirts of the East San Gabriel Valley. And I've owned this, been in this particular branch for 17 years, been in the mortgage industry since 1985, and rocking and rolling just like everybody else right now. And just lead a small team. There's myself and 3 other originators on the team. And it's a pretty small office from mortgage banker, and you know who I'm working with. And so just having a lot of fun right now.
What kind of production are you doing this year?
I believe as of this morning, we're at about 328 closed units. I think it's 123 million in that range.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
So killing it, crossing 100 million. Have you gone over 100 million in the past? You've gone over 100 million.
I did 108 million last year. This will probably be about a top 5 or 6 year for me. It won't be my best year ever. 3 times in my career, I've closed over 400 loans, but about 350 is my sweet spot without killing myself.
Right. Well, from what I know, you're a pretty hardworking dude, and you work hard.
Well, Bill Hart tells me I need to start taking more time for myself. And so that's always been a little bit of a challenge for me.
Yeah. Well, you love what you do and you love helping families. And I remember in the past when I talked to you, that was your sweet spot to using Mortgage Coaches. You just felt like, hey, this is going to help families make better decisions. And even though you felt like, I don't know if I need it, but I feel like it would be good for them. So I guess, what was it that got you this year to decide, hey, I'm going to start using Mortgage Coach? What was the new why?
Well, really started last year. I just wanted to elevate my game. I was part of Todd Duncan's elite group for 6 years. And just being in an inner circle, you hang around guys that are very, very successful. At the end of the day, I really worked on the last few years on my presentation, and I have a defined process that I take everybody through, and it's a beautiful presentation that I like to say that I've mastered it, and we do that every single time. And I just kind of married that with Mortgage Coach and kind of brought in Ryan Grant's Art of Homeownership behind that. And of course, that's mixed in with Home Bought and House Happy, and just kind of have a nice defined package that we utilize on a daily basis. But the thing that I'm probably most proud about is the fact that I really feel like I'm made major strides using Mortgage Coach in my career this year. And I think it's probably given me the most satisfaction this year, is being able to help families, be able to provide great solutions. And I'm really proud of what I've been able to accomplish with Mortgage Coach this year.
Well, I'm proud of you too. And I bet your families, how are you feeling? Because you've been serving a lot of these families for years. It's like you are a local referral-based lender, and I think you define that. What's the feedback been like from the families that you serve?
Man, they're blown away. Of course, everybody knows it's a heavy refi market, but just the money we've been able to save people, and just the options. I mean, people literally are telling me, on the phone or when I'm doing a Zoom meeting with a client, hey, this is great stuff. And in my area here, there's only a few of us that even use Mortgage Coach. And so for me, I feel like I've got an unfair competitive advantage using Mortgage Coach and bringing real solutions to these customers on a daily basis.
But, before we get into a TCA and how you've adopted the scripting, I know pre-COVID, you met with the majority of your families in person, right?
Oh, about 95 to 98% of them.
Yeah. So you, again, local, hyper local, hyper personal experience. And And I know one of the things that got in the way of Mortgage Coach with you in the past is you did educate people, but it was more of like purchase education, transactional education. And Mortgage Coach is like, okay, it goes beyond that. And that it's kind of hard to get your mind around it until you've done it 300 times.
Right.
Was that a hard learning curve for you to go from transactional education to Mortgage Coach education?
It was, but once I saw the light and once I started building momentum, it really just became easier, and I went from taking 30 minutes to do a TCA to, 5 minutes or whatever it takes, but the reality is I've gotten a lot faster, and now I would feel guilty not using it with a customer. I feel like I would feel like I'd be shortchanging somebody.
Yeah, no, that's
Definitely integrated into my business.
how long did it take you to where you really got to the point where you're like, okay, this is saving me time, and oh, I feel comfortable with the conversation? Not days or weeks, because I know it took a while, but how many TCAs do you think it took you?
Um, I think you've always said it's about 10 to 20. I think when you get to the 20th one, you start to kind of feel more, like you're kind of getting some momentum built up. And for me, I think it took about 20, but it really just took me committing to doing, using it on a daily basis. And so once I got past, 50, I was home free. I'm still not an expert, but at the end of the day, I've learned quite a bit and I'm getting better at it every day.
Love it. Well, Manny, it is awesome to have you as a leader in the Mortgage Coach community, and I know your families are getting value from it. So let's get into the how you're doing it. So you have a team. Who is doing the setup of the TCA? Are you doing it? Your teammate doing it? A combination of the two?
I do every TCA myself for us, and I've got guys here that I'm still trying to work on getting them to embrace the culture. Hey, you got to be a TCA guy or else you're going to get left behind. And so for me, I'm 61 years old, but I still wanted to be a modern loan officer, with that modern loan officer mentality. I didn't want to just show up with one of these and then, do my deal. I mean, I can still take notes, but at the end of the day, I want to be better than that, and I want to make a difference in the business and the industry. And I just needed to graduate beyond just bringing a paper pad in a conference room and get to that next level. It's more of a CPA mentality, financial advisor mentality. When people come into the conference room where I do Zoom and I'm able to present, they just feel like I'm at a different level. It just separates me from my competition.
No doubt. Well, and also what about this? Do you feel like you're even giving more value to people? Like you actually like being a mortgage professional even more because you're delivering a higher level of value. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm really providing really great solutions to, our families. And at the end of the day, I know we're doing great work and I feel good about it. And so I'll tell you what, for me, I mean, I wish I would have embraced it 10 years ago. I mean, I would love to have 6,000 of these under my belt, but we'll get there.
Yeah, no
One
doubt.
client at a time.
Well, let's do this. Let's share your screen. Guys, I'm going to check into the Facebook group in a minute. If you have questions for Manny, if you have call outs for Manny, Manny, and you want to say something, say hi. So by the way, before we go into this specific total cost analysis, go to the advice engine, where you create the TCA. I want to see exactly how many TCAs you've created real quick. Go to settings in the upper right-hand corner. So look, we are at 260. So I would expect next month, really, you're going to be at 300. So maybe we'll do another interview. You'll notice, guys, that he hasn't started using video too much, only 4 videos. And you haven't, you get about, looks like 2 people clicking on every one of them. So there is some opportunity there where you could share the link and get more people looking at the TCA, and you haven't added your headshot yet. So cool. All right, well, let's go into the scenario at hand.
No worries. Let's do it. I'm going to actually drag it over here for a minute just so I can get a better view of this myself. One of the things that I want to embrace this year, actually, I'm doing my business.
By the way, we're seeing the advice engine and not the actual total cost analysis. We saw it like when you clicked on the link.
You good?
There we go. We see it.
Okay, got it. So one of the things that I want to incorporate this year is the use of video. And the reason I believe I don't have as many views is because I do every one of my TCAs. I do a Zoom meeting on every one of them.
Mm,
I just don't send it. Every
got
one
it.
of them, I do a Zoom meeting. I personally take the time to demonstrate it to them myself, and then I'll send it to them, and they might open it once or twice or whatever have you. But I typically spend the time, well, I know I do, every single client, I'm actually sitting down with them and actually guiding them through the process. I'm just now going to start incorporating the video into the TCA, and then, trying that out for a little bit. But I've had a lot of luck just actually interacting with clients and building that rapport one-on-one and going deeper with them on it. And it's really
Cool.
worked for me. So this is one I just did for a family. And of course, I've got the landscape view here. And this is real life. I just did this one here a couple of days ago. And they were looking at a 15-year loan, here, a 20-year loan here, and a 30-year loan. Ultimately, they ended up going with option number 2, the 20-year loan. And so the reason they did primarily is because the payment was only $31 and they're more than their current loan. And I was going to save them about $106,000 just in payments by shaving off 5 years off their loan. They have about 24, 25 years to go on their loan currently. Let me just show you here what I did. So this was the property value across the board. I'll just clear this here. And then we had a loan amount of 255. I gave them 3 interest rate choices. They are currently at 4.125. On a 15-year loan, it was 2.3, 2.625 on a 20, and a 30-year loan, it was 2.750. And then I had the APR here, of course, 180 months, 240 or 360. They ended up choosing this option here. The payment literally was in the same wheelhouse as their current payment of 1764, but they can go to a 20-year loan on this thing, and they just absolutely loved it. And so it was just a sweet spot for them. I could have saved them $294 a month, but they were looking to get to the finish line a little sooner and really didn't really want to focus on a 30-year loan. So we eliminated this, and we didn't go with the 15 because the payment was a little high for them. So they felt really comfortable with a 20-year option in this case.
Hey, Manny, let me show you something. Like if you click on the loan program, like go up and click on the loan program on that one right there. At the
Talking about
top.
up here?
Yeah, click at the top right there. Boom.
Okay.
It unhighlights everything. So just wanted you to see that.
Got it. Normally I just go to switch view and do it, but clear all, but good.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Well, I always, when I'm learning, I always like to also share some little ideas. Someone else doesn't know it. You didn't know it. Most people don't until you teach them. So do you ever do where like, hey, here's your current loan. You could have done program 2 is 30-year, and then you could have shown them the 20 or 15, but then you could have also shown them, hey, here's a 30, but you could take that $200.94.
Oh, do it all the time.
Okay, so you do that a lot.
Oh my gosh, do it all the time. Are you kidding me? I love it. I love the reinvestment, man. The reduction.
Yeah.
Do it all the time. And
okay, good.
I'll customize it. I'll take that 294, slide it over, and then kind of show them where they're at. And then they'll say, you know what? Some people are not as disciplined. And I'll just tell them, hey, look, you go with a 20-year loan, you're going to be forced to make the payment on this thing and you'll pay it off. And here you're going to have to rely on your discipline. And so some people are disciplined enough to do it and some people aren't, but I love going into the analysis and really working with them on the analysis portion of it.
Love that. And scroll down to the bottom right-hand corner. I want to show something real quick.
Sure.
Scroll down to the very bottom. You'll notice, guys, he's showing over 15 years in this case. He's showing what the principal would be at 15 years. He could have made that 20 years. He could have, customized it. But at the end of the day, it's about going beyond the transaction. And what about purchases? How are you using Mortgage Coach with purchases?
Let me show you one I just did recently. Here we go. I'll slide that over and we'll just pull this one in here. Should be this one here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just did this one here. This was one, in this case, it was a $900,000 purchase. It's actually an escrow now. And she wanted 3 choices: 30-year with 0 points, 30-year with a half point, pretty basic, 30-year with 1 point. And in this case, she actually took the higher rate, okay, the higher payment with less cash to close, because she wants to do some things to the home and do some remodeling versus taking a lower rate in this case with a lower payment and slightly more cash to close. This would have been an $82 savings, and option number 2 would have been a $41 savings. She wasn't too concerned with the payment because the payment was right in her wheelhouse. She was really more cash to close driven. And so one thing we've learned as loan officers is that typically people are either payment driven or cash to close driven. One dynamic is going to override the other in most cases, unless you just have a lot of money, and then it doesn't matter. But in this case, she was cash to close driven. So she ended up taking option number 1, really was the option she really preferred in this case.
Love it. Well, I mean, dude, it's clear that you use a mortgage coach. You have no idea how happy I am, because I've always known you're one of America's best loan officers. I've always known you've got the biggest heart, the most work ethic of anybody in the country. And now to see you learning to be a strategist with mortgage coach, you've always been a strategist, but doing it with mortgage coach, it really warms my heart.
Yeah. Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
Sharing real quick. You can stop sharing the screen. And anything else you want to show there?
No, not really. I just want to let you know that I've got a long way to go with mortgage coach, but I'm on the right path, and I'm looking to crush it next year, man, and do a ton of TCAs.
Yeah, no, you are definitely going to do that. When you position it with the family, what do you call it to the family? Like, what's the soundbite or the script so that when the family gets it, they're like, okay, I'm looking at blank. How do you
Certified
position?
mortgage plan.
Boom, certified mortgage plan. I like.
That's my deal. Certified mortgage plan.
All right. And what's the 1-minute script? Like if I was a family and you were getting ready to pull it up on the screen, what would you say?
Oh, I tell them that I'm gonna take them through a process that's gonna blow their minds, and I'm gonna show them. To me, I feel like it's an unfair competitive advantage. What I'm gonna do is take them through a process they probably haven't been taken through in most cases, because as I know, that most people are just giving somebody one option. They're not even giving people 2 or 3 options. And so I tell them I'm gonna design a mortgage that's gonna be centered around their goals for their family. And I'm going to show them how to get there. And what I'm going to do is show them options. I'm going to show them 2 or 3 options that's going to craft a mortgage plan that's going to meet their goals for themselves. And that's what we're going to do. And so typically they're excited to do it. And like I said, most lenders are giving 1 option. We're giving 2, 3, or 4 options. And once I show them the TCA or the certified mortgage plan, they're blown away.
So guys, there was a lot of powerful words in that. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
Most loan officers do this. I'm going to design something for you. There was just within that minute soundbite, there were some really powerful language, powerful words, so that when the family gets it, they're like, oh, this guy's different. Oh, this guy cares. Oh, this is better than anything I've seen before. So anyways, I like that.
Dave, can I share one other thing?
Please.
When we're talking to these customers too, the reality is that most customers just choose a loan program because the rate sounds great, or, they think, hey, I'm going to take this option or I'm going to take that option. But what the TCA does, and it breaks it down in such a way, and the beauty of it is that I just kind of slide in there and show them, look, when I'm showing them the options, I always tell them, let's see which option is the best option. And so this does all the work for you. So we take the guesswork right out of it. So you can see whether option 1, option 2, or option 3 is going to be the best option. And here's how much money you're going to save over 5, 10, or 15 years. So it just does the talking for them. You'd be surprised how many people are just blown away because the option they thought they were going to take, they don't end up taking.
Right. You're right. I just remembered something else about you when you and I shared a stage. I don't know if it was a year ago. And last year, Shayla Gifford, I did an interview with her called Shayla Gifford's Perfect Pre-Approval Experience.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, first of all, it was one of the all-time best mortgage coach interviews. And the views prove it. It's been watched over 5,400 times, hundreds of likes. But I remember you saying, you know what? I watched that because I knew Shayla by reputation. And I wanted to see, okay, what is she doing? And then I also remember, here you are doing, I think that year you'd done well over 300, 400 loans a year. You're like, you listened, how many times did you watch that? And what did you take away from that?
Probably watched it 10 times. What I took away from it was validation that I'm doing some things right.
Right.
That's what I took away from it. She had a defined presentation. She had a process she takes all of her borrowers through. She didn't shortchange it or shortcut it, and when you can take a process like that, that's already going to separate you from 98% of your competition who doesn't have a process, and it just separates you from your competition. And then you mix in mortgage coach and you mix in some of the stuff we're doing on the back end. It's the whole complete package, man.
Have you turned on the HomeBot mortgage coach integration?
I haven't, because we're using Ryan Grant's Art of Home Ownership, which is kind of built into our system already.
You can turn on the mortgage coach integration. I'll tell Tina to reach out to you and just, or I'll actually just send you a tutorial. You could do it in a minute. It's pretty slick.
HomeBot's amazing, man.
It's awesome. There's no doubt it's an awesome integration. Guys, I'm going to put a link down below to the Shayla Gifford interview. One of my takeaways from that, because while you were kind of starting to grow that Mortgage Coach Y, and that was getting you into our community. So you were watching our interviews, you were paying attention to mortgage coach people. You had kind of made the decision, I need to be a modern mortgage professional.
Right.
But guys, that's the first step. And so I guess, being a 61 and being a traditional loan officer who's becoming a modern loan officer, what would you say to other loan officers? And let's just say, 45 plus, that they learned a different way of doing it than it is today. What would be your closing thoughts and your leadership to any of those, call it traditional old school loan officers, to be modern, use mortgage coach? What advice do you have?
Well, I'd be speaking to about 95% of my friends,
right?
That are, we're just, what are you going to say? Old fashioned street originators, man. I mean, we just grind the streets and, we do loans, and that's kind of how we've always done it, at the end of the day. But if you want to be in this industry long-term, you got to be a mortgage coach loan officer. Every loan officer that I talk to, anybody that I would consider recruiting here, I would say, you know what? Master mortgage coach, man. If you want to be in this business long-term, you got to be on the cutting edge of things. You got to be modern. You got to be on top of your game, and you got to keep learning, man. And you got to surround yourself with, professional people that'll push you to the next level.
I love that, man. Well, dude, it's good to have you on the team. My closing thought, I want to know if you want to add anything to that. Being modern, first of all, it just means having a growth mindset. It means like, I want to grow, I want to get better. It does mean you got to use the link to take an app. And I do think everybody's playing that game now. Here's a link to the family, they take an app, but it means giving a link to give advice, mortgage coach, tools like HomeBot. HomeBot is a great modern loan officer tool. Anything else come to mind when you say modern loan officer means, in addition to mortgage coach? Anything else come to mind?
To me, it's always about, being involved in coaching groups as well. You run a great show. I mean, what you guys are doing is insane. I mean, the people you have on your platform is incredible. I mean, I can just name 25 people that are already made a difference in my life. But I've been coaching with Building Champions for 18 years. I've been part of Todd Duncan's elite program for 6 years, and just surrounding yourself with winners, man. Just push, people that can help elevate your game and take it to the next level. And I would say all those people have a modern mindset for the most part.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
Yeah,
agreed. Well, guys,
it's a decision to be your very best, and if you want to be in this industry, I think that's the only decision to make right now.
Love it. Yeah. Well, Manny, I appreciate you, brother. Congrats on up in your game, taking it to the next level. Congrats on all the success. Everybody listen to this. If you got value from it, give it a like, share it with your mortgage friends. Guys, still, there's more status quo loan officers in America that are giving families a fee worksheet than mortgage coach loan officers. We are growing. I mean, we had just an incredible year. We've got 34% of loan officers that do over 100 loans a year, use mortgage coach. So join the team, get signed up if you're not already signed up. But the key thing is give it to everybody. Like, don't pick and choose, like have a consistent process And that's the process you give to everyone. So take care, brother. It was good chatting with you.
Take care, buddy.